show me what I've been ungrateful for. We got husband and wives in here. We got spouses, people married, been married, gonna be married. How many times your spouses have gotten on your nerves? Whoo! There's not a man or woman in here that's married that can't say they ain't got on each other's nerves. I'm gonna wait till somebody tell that story and lie about saying your wife or your husband hadn't gotten on your nerves at some given point in time. But instead of complaining about the fact they got on your nerves and getting mad at them, thank God that you have a wife. Thank God you have a husband. Thank God the fact there's somebody for you. There's a help person for you to deal with what's going on in this world. This is why God try to tell you constantly pray for one another. Because the simple fact is when you're going through some things, you need that help to help you. Thank you. Thank you, yes. Because, it says when 2 and 3 are gathered. He didn't say you had to come in the sanctuary to make sure that 2 or 3 are gathered. You can have those 2 and 3 gathered in your home. That's why he continues to make us husband and wife as one. And we come in together, God, and say, Lord, you know what? I didn't like what they did today. But instead of me complaining about what they did, I'm going to pray for them. Everybody in this room knows prayer is very powerful. We've all been a testimony of it. There's not one person here can't say it, because if you think you can say it, you wouldn't be sitting here. So we need to get up every single day of our lives and thank God for everything he's doing, learning how to be grateful for what he's blessing us with. Don't hesitate. Don't think second thoughts of it. You don't even have to have something good happen to you. Even when, say if you get a flat tire, you could be going 65 miles down the street and catch a flat tire. You have a blowout tire. And you turn around and say, man, this tire messed up. Instead of saying, you know what, Lord, I didn't crash. I'm going to raise my hands in the middle of traffic, and I'm going to praise your holy name in the middle of the traffic, even though I went through that situation. See, we want to look at all circumstances that we go through as a way that the devil is attacking us. Have you ever thought about sometimes that we go through them circumstances because God's waiting on your praise? He's giving you a testimony to show you his goodness and telling you to be more grateful for what he's blessed you with. I'm going to go into some couple of the scriptures. This time, Mama, they're going to be on the board because they taught me some stuff. Okay, so people going to have some scriptures up there. I'm going to start off with some. Oh, hold on. Is this the one? Nope, that's the wrong one. Let me get to it. Give me a second, y'all. I think they tried to mess with us this morning. They're going to try to mess with us again. See, I'm going to start up some stuff like even in the beginning. When God sat down and said, let there be light, and he's created man, he created woman, the first thing we did was be ungrateful. See, Eve was ungrateful to the fashion that God says, don't touch that tree. Don't touch that. Nobody's to mess with that. No, we want to be ungrateful to the fashion that, he's given us everything else to look at and touch and eat and all that. We're going to be, no, that ain't enough. I need more. I need to know. And she allowed the serpent to come in, and y'all know the story. That's the first sign. That was the first sign of showing us ungratefulness. We were ungrateful. This is why we had to fall. Our children, we love our babies, we love them, but they come into the world and they have this mentality of selfishness. We think they don't know no better. See, we can give them a pass because they don't know no better because they haven't been taught. We know better. So we got to change our mentalities on how we do things and why we do things, because we need to walk around here every day and be grateful for everything God has given us. It starts everybody's be going through this Bible. And if you're going through your Bible like we all been going through the Bible during this Wednesday Wednesday services and Bible studies is we've studied in beginning part talking about in Exodus. Exodus 16, where it starts off talking about where the Israelites were being so ungrateful about just eating manna. They were being upset the fashion they were eating. But forgot about the part where God delivered them from. They forgot about, oh, I was a slave over there in Egypt. I was a slave. Forget the fashion that God delivered me from there. I'm going to complain the fashion that he didn't give me quail. Oh, he provided food for me, but I'm going to complain because it's not the food that I want. And we constantly complain about these things because it's not a need, it's a want. And it's because of our ungratefulness that we have the desired thing inside of us that don't show appreciation what God has done for us. You know? So we'll sit back and complain about the smallest things. You know, some of us have grew up in a little bit of harder places and than others, which is fine, which is not to talk about anybody being good or bad, but it's the situation is even if we grew up in the best neighborhoods or the worst, thank God for the place you grew up in. You know, so we talk about it in Numbers. When in Numbers, starting around chapter 11, in Numbers, where they say, he gave them quail. He gave them, and then, oh no, I'm going to complain about that. Now you got quail, you want to complain about quail. See, now you ain't give me no meat. I was like, hold up. I didn't give you this. I didn't give you that. And you still complaining? He says, well, look, I'm going to give you that. I'm going to give you this grace and this mercy. But still, you even though you still being ungrateful, I'm going to still show you grace and mercy. So I'm going to give you that too. And even after that, y'all, they still complain. We would have been better off left there. You left us here to die. And all, like, Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. Whew, Lord have mercy. When you start talking about our ungratefulness of what we go through, I just want to, when I get up here and I speak, I'm not to condemn anybody.